Shane Van Gisbergen has been finding something on short ovals that a lot of drivers spend years chasing, and he's about to explain exactly why it's working. Stick around, because what he says about these tracks might change the way you watch this weekend's race. And hey, real quick, if you are a true NASCAR fan like me, go ahead and drop a like and subscribe to the channel. NASCAR Nation news is just getting started. We are pushing for our next subscriber milestone, and it's all about real talk from fans who live this sport every week. All right, let's get into it. Let's start with what actually happened. Shane Van Gisbergen has been opening up about his recent short oval success in the NASCAR Cup Series, and he's hoping that success carries right into this weekend. Last month at North Wilkesboro, Van Gisbergen posted an equal career best oval finish. He came home 5th. And here's the number that really stands out. He led a career-high 49 laps in that race. 49 laps led on an oval for a driver who made his name on road courses. That's not a small thing. Now he's heading back to another short oval. On August 24th, Australian Eastern Standard Time, NASCAR rolls into the 1-mile track at New Hampshire, and Van Gisbergen is walking in with some real confidence about what these shorter tracks let him do behind the wheel. So why do short ovals suit him? Van Gisbergen actually broke it down himself. He said, quote, "I feel like you can have a little more influence on the car, like you can manipulate it with the brake or brake bias and whatever gear you're running," end quote. In other words, at a short oval, the driver has more tools available in the moment. Brake bias, gear selection, line choice. He said you can vary your line a little more on these tracks and that there's simply more a driver can do to shape how the car performs. But here's the part that's really interesting. Van Gisbergen drew a direct contrast between short ovals and the bigger tracks on the schedule. He said short ovals place a greater emphasis on driver ability and car control. Meanwhile, the intermediate tracks and the super speedways lean much more heavily on how the car is set up before the race even starts. He was honest about what that means for him specifically. In his own words, that just means on the big tracks, I'm not good enough of knowing what I want from the car yet, or how to get the car to do what I want, whether that's with feedback to my engineer or just in general. That's a pretty candid admission. He's saying the communication between himself and his engineer and his own feel for what the car needs is still developing when it comes to the bigger, faster tracks. But then he explained the flip side of that coin. On the short ovals, he said he can kind of make up for a deficiency in the car using whatever tools he has available. On the big tracks though, he said you're kind of just stuck with what you've got sometimes. So the short ovals give him room to compensate. The big tracks don't offer that same flexibility. Now, let's talk history at New Hampshire specifically, because Van Gisbergen actually has a track record here worth mentioning. Last year, at this same track, he recorded his season career best oval qualifying effort. He qualified 10th, but the race itself didn't go his way. He was caught up as an unlucky victim of a multi-car pileup a little more than a third of the way into the race, and that incident came right after a restart. So the qualifying pace was there, but the result didn't reflect it. Van Gisbergen described New Hampshire in his own words too. He called it, quote, "a very different track." He said, "I was going pretty decent there last year until I wasn't, but it's tough. Long straights and short corners." He went even further, comparing it to a road course in terms of approach. He said it's a little bit like a road course the way you approach the corners, trying to make the corners shorter and the straights longer. And he said that theory kind of works there. Despite the tough characteristics, he was clear about his overall feeling toward the track. He said, "I enjoy it. It's a weird oval being so flat, it's a pretty decent track." Now, away from the driving talk, there's a sponsorship story worth mentioning too. Van Gisbergen and his Trackhouse Racing teammate, Connor Zilisch, will both be sporting sponsorship from Superfile at New Hampshire. This actually marks the first time Superfile has expanded its NASCAR presence to 2 cars at once. As for the look, the liveries are fundamentally the same on both cars. The only real difference comes down to the colored stripes. Van Gisbergen's car will carry white stripes, while Zilisch's will carry yellow. Let's close with where things stand in the championship picture, because this weekend matters more than just personal track history. Van Gisbergen is heading into the penultimate round of the regular season, sitting 50 points above the cutoff line to make the chase. He's currently 16th in the standings. Right behind that cut line is RFK Racing's Ryan Preece, who sits in 17th, 50 points below the cut. So the margin is real, But it's not enormous, and New Hampshire is one of the last chances to build on that cushion before the regular season wraps up. So to recap, a career-best oval finish at North Wilkesboro 49 laps led a driver openly explaining why short ovals suit his skill set better than the bigger tracks, a New Hampshire history that includes strong qualifying but a race-ending pileup. A brand new 2-car sponsorship rollout with Superfile and a 50-point cushion above the Chase cut line heading into the penultimate weekend of the regular season. Here's a question for you to drop in the comments. Do you think Van Gisbergen's short oval approach can carry him to another strong finish at New Hampshire, or will this weird oval, as he calls it, throw him another curveball like it did last year? Let me know what you think down below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join the NASCAR Nation news community. We'll see you in the next one.